New breed to the world. Hope it ain't over. Lights on, another battle in the Coliseum. The price of freedom got us fighting till we barely breathing. Give me a reason up this sword on you bloody heathens. Got me feeling like Spartacus. All my soldiers lockstep, yeah, we move with harmony. Do this for the fatherless. Raised up rough in the heart of the metropolis. Seen brothers blow it cause they ignored the prophets in a hurry to rise. They destroyed the process. Nothing new, you know that history repeats. It repeats. My rap style is officially elite. It's official. Study the word, don't be victim to deceit. We countrymen and nobles with a chip on our shoulders. Let the nation rise up. We regulate and bring order like the chosen one. Showing why we chosen, son. With a light at flames when we strike back. So many devils just praying that you might slip. Hold this Bible with a vice grip. Got them claiming I'm a Mason. Go figure. You must be kidding. With this talent, I be making millions. This hard work and prayer, and still ain't hit the ceiling. My life a roller coaster, and it's a king's to me. We just trying to free our people while we feed our children. Got them jealous families tweaking cause they in their feelings. I'm just here to do the work until the work is finished. Till it's finished. It's like I've been here before. Deja vu. Peep the game from a bird's eye view. I was placed in the wars like I already knew. The Lord placed me in the wound and said you better stay true. Yeah, it's like I've been here before. Deja vu. Peep the game from a bird's eye view. I was placed in the wars like I already knew. The Lord placed me in the wound and said you better stay true. Yeah, you better stay true. All these trolls steady watching, are you not entertained? They say I talk too heavy, see the error of your ways. Words cut under my tongue, a razor blade. Cut them deep. Truth is love, now get over your shame. See, they took me for granted, disappeared like David Blaine. Now we rise like the prodigal sons. They diabolical plots couldn't stop what we done. Throw your fists in the air if you know where you from. Humble beginnings till it's riches and wealth. I don't boast or brag, but let's just say that I'm blessed. Had to fight some demons off before I got to the bag. Or I'm self-sabotaging, drinking liquor and spazzing. The Lord know my convictions, these people don't know the half. My past haunt me at times, this is the aftermath. The Lord hid my mistakes and helped to guide my past, like he did for Moses when he killed the man. It's like I've been here before, deja vu. Peep the game from a bird's eye view. I was placed in the wars like I already knew. The Lord placed me in the womb and said you better stay true. Yeah, it's like I've been here before, deja vu. Peep the game from a bird's eye view. I was placed in the wars like I already knew. The Lord placed me in the womb and said you better stay true. Yeah, you better stay true. One way up, it's 6 million ways to die. It's 6 million ways to die. When the odds stacked against you, say your prayer, lead them haters. Find a reason to try. Just find a reason to try. Yeah, there's only one way up. It's 6 million ways to die. It's 6 million ways to die. When the odds stacked against you, say a prayer, lead them haters. Find a reason to try. Just find a reason to try. Yeah, they don't understand how serious this is. They really don't. This ain't about playing no damn church. I'm not your pastor. Nah, for real. It's about nation building. 4,000 acres of land. I'm trying to free my people and feed my children. That's right, the hell is you talking about? A real chief, a real gentleman. Yeah, Africa, no. Stop playing with me. Worldwide, global. Stop playing you and why? All praise to the Most High. What y'all think this is? I'm the most powerful man on social media. What is you saying? I make all them heathens tremble every time I speak. I'm gifted and anointed on the ground level with the people. What is you saying? Yeah, you hear me? Anybody speaking negative on our names gonna be destroyed. That's a fact. Matter of fact, they already done. That's a fact. Walking dead, drowning in their own sorrow. Stop speaking on us, for real. Living in time that's borrowed, cause it's dangerous. They not ready. They can't even see. Touch not the Most High's elected. Touch not my anointing. Yeah, we here now. All you can do is respect it. That's right. Unless you got a death wish. Glory to Yah.
Glory to Yah. What is going on, brothers and sisters? It's New Breed coming through with another live stream. Yo, this brother Polight dude is a narcissistic sociopath, bro. Seriously. It seemed like all students of Malachi Z York are just some filthy beings, bro. We talking about a master classman when it comes to scamming. We talking about an individual who been fleecing the flock for years. These conscious community clowns are something else, man. And it's like, beloved, we got to start testing the spirit of these individuals seriously. And he's in denial. Brother Polight has pled guilty, ladies and gentlemen, to child rape. And he's been sentenced to 7 years. And I believe he's going to be doing 10 years probation. And we're going to bring out the proof. But before we bring out the proof, we're going to let this fool talk. I'm going to let you see just how manipulative this clown is, man. Because, you know, we keep on propping these people up as leaders. We keep on funding their campaigns. We keep supporting those individuals who know how to tickle ears and use $1 million words. We continue to push these people. And this man did one of the most conniving things a man can do. He took a woman as a wife, right? This is what Brother Polight did. He took a woman as a wife and laid with her child, violated her child, viciously and maliciously. Not just laid with her, we're talking about utterly violated. He was supposed to be taking this young lady for counseling. But instead of taking her for counseling, he took her into a hotel room in Miami-Dade County and pretty much sodomized this young lady. The daughter of his wife. And see, ladies, you got to be careful who you bringing around your children. You got to be careful. And, you know, the woman that he had, his former wife, she, you know, she went through great lengths to get this man persecuted for these actions. She went against a machine. She went against Brother Polight's lawyers, and she came out triumphant. So we got to give praises to the Most High for that, because I believe that Brother Polight got exactly what he deserved, especially with how he dealt with this situation afterwards. You know, just the fact that he's pretty much manipulating the public. He still cares about what the public thinks. He still is caught up in his public persona, opposed to, you know, having to face real time with real criminals in a real jail cell. But instead, he's on social media, and literally, y'all see this has 3 likes. He literally just dropped this minutes ago. He's literally, this dude is still trying to do damage control, and I can give you proof. There's not too many people are bringing proof. It's just hearsay. I'm going to actually bring up the Miami-Dade County Court, the actual court docket, to prove to you that he pled. All right? So guilty, guilty, guilty. No, we don't have to say allegedly, none of that. He's been going on this whole campaign on social media with trying to get content creators to be afraid, claiming he's going to get lawyers and he's going to be petty. When we can all see the docket, we can all see it. Michael Nowak, what you did. And the truth is going to be brought to the light. The scriptures say everything that's done in the dark will be brought to the light. You could bet your bottom dollar of that. Instead of confessing, instead of, you know, apologizing to the public, to your fans, this is where he decides to continue to do, right? It's crazy.
This is an abundance. The mother and the daughter and the prosecution dropped every single sexual charge.
It's a lie.
I'm saying it again. The mother, the daughter, my accusers, in addition to the state, the prosecution, all agree they need to drop all of the sexual charges. So yeah, it's a victory, but it's bittersweet. It's a victory because I was facing life. No parole, no probation. Now
This man has cognitive dissonance, ladies and gentlemen. This man is delusional. Also, he did a video yesterday, basically in celebratory mode, out there in a club, popping bottles, claiming that the charges were just dropped. This is what he's claiming on social media. Now, I'm going to prove that he's lying to you. Now, this is what these wizards do. They bring confusion. This is what they're about. And really, he was partying, getting prepared to do his time. And we're going to prove this, that he took a plea deal. Let's go.
You may say, how could this be possible if a minor was so-called molested and it was DNA evidence? And people say DNA don't lie. And I always said people do. Well, let's do this. The serologist, the expert that so-called found 6 semen stains amongst a headscarf and a t-shirt. Never mind the fact the whole rape kit said negative, negative, negative. They checked this girl for 5 different types of DNA, finger DNA, all types of different DNA. Checked her vagina, checked her mouth, checked her saliva, checked her excrement, checked her feces, checked her urine. Everything came up negative. You would think because of all the violent acts I was accused of, how I came inside of her, how I came on her face, how I bust her mouth open from penetrating her so physically.
Okay, we're not gonna get into that. He's speaking pretty vile. Let me show y'all something, right? Let me show y'all something. Enough of Brother Polight, right? Let's bring forth the proof. Let's do that. As you can see, here's the Miami-Dade County docket. You got child molestation felony, 12 to 16. This is the years that they hold. You have child contributing to a minor. You have 4 different felonies for the molestation and inappropriate conduct. Then you have the controlled delinquency of a minor, which equals to a misdemeanor. Engage. Now, this is what was no action. Now y'all see this. He got molestation charges here. You see how he's playing semantics. Now sex, they put no action. And I'm gonna show you why. Because this is what happened when you take a plea deal. Let me show you. So he was using semantics saying all the sex charges have been dropped. As you can see, those felonies equal to no action. Everybody following? No action, right? But he is being charged with child molestation, contributing to a minor, and so forth, which are still felonies, ladies and gentlemen. Still felonies. Now, since he liked to play semantics and play games, right? So when you scroll down on the docket, motion for continuance was filed 6/21/23. All right. Now, 6/21/23, report plea set for 7/7/23 at 9 o'clock. Y'all see that? Yeah. Read them and weep. It's right there. That's he had a plea bargain set up. So Brother Polight did plead guilty to molestation, contributing to a minor. He still violated that young lady. And what he did was work the system with how they went about getting the semen samples or whatever the case is. And he found a loophole and he said, look, we won't agree to that, but we'll agree to this. And see, they like to get the cases closed, throw them in the jail cell, lock them up. The district attorneys in there want to go ahead and get a case, get it done, get it over with. And that's why they dropped the sex charges. He could have got a lot longer than that. He could have got a lot longer than 7 years. And he's all on social media, still acting like all the charges was dropped. No, you got to listen. All the sex charges were dropped. There were no actions. Why? Because he pled guilty. to molesting this young girl. He pled guilty to intoxicating her or whatever the case is. So there's no alleged. He pled guilty. He's sentenced to 7 years. He's going to do jail time. I mean, damn it, it's video footage. We got video footage. It's people who literally have court footage of his lawyer taken to the stand and getting the plea. But still, Brother Polight is still on social media trying to secure his image, which shows you that he has absolutely no remorse for what he did. He has no remorse. The man does not care. And it goes to show what he really thinks about the people. And here we have this innocent child violated from another slick talking, false prophet, wicked scammer who's bringing in damnable heresies, teaching this Egyptian nonsense and this new age nonsense. Listen, let me put this out here. If you're not following the Bible, you're following the devil. If you're not following the holy scriptures that give you laws, statutes, and commandments to adhere and live by, you're following the devil. And you got these grown men and who can have access to whatever kind of grown woman. Brother Polight practices polygyny. More than likely he's practicing polygamy because more than likely his wives are moving a certain way. They probably knew what he was into. More than likely his wives knew that he was messing with little girls. But this brother had access to all these women. But for some reason, through this Kemet confusion, through this Malachi Z York, Egyptian sodomite, wicked etymology, he decides that he wants to look at little girls. He decides he wants to take the daughter of one of his wives. And allegedly, she was misbehaving out there doing certain things. And the mother wanted Polight to counsel the young lady. But instead of counseling the young lady, he had something else on his mind. He took her into a hotel in Miami. And this is what took place. Nubian says this guy needs to be stoned, harsh punishment for this. I mean, I think a lot of people involved need to be brung to the table in this situation. Because being naive, let's make this very clear. And this goes for all the mothers out there. Being naive is child abuse as well. Being green to who you bring around your children is child abuse. Russell, thank you for the 20. I appreciate the support, fam. And I mean, the proof is here. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we got the docket for everybody joining, and you're probably confused to what Brother Polight is talking about. I'm bringing you the docket. Here you go. So he had, let's see. Yep, that's you, Michael Nowak Jr., born 8/10/1983. Boom. He got child molestation, which holds 12 to 16 years. Inappropriate conduct with a minor, a felony. The man still is charged with several felonies. And as you can see, here's the plea deal. He had a motion for continuance filed 6/21. It was granted 6/21/23. Plea set for 7/7. So he took a plea deal and then went on social media and celebrated taking a plea. Celebrated it as if he was not guilty. Celebrating as if all charges have been dropped. And that the case was totally thrown away. So this is what your Hotep brother is doing in the conscious community. Let's show you what he's doing here. Matter of fact, let's pull up the Instagram here. Just to show you he has no remorse for what he did. He don't see nothing wrong with what he did. Let me pull this up. Y'all give me one moment. All right, so this is all right, here we go. And do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, and like the video. There you go. This is what he did just a day ago. Now we're not gonna play the music. Look at that. Those charges dropped. They popping bottles. They got the Remy. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Just to show you how demonic this dude is. Just to show you how demonic that he is. Let me see. What is this person doing in my chat? Wiz Towers. Don't come in my chat with all that language, man. You don't hear you don't see nobody else talking like that in the chat. Why would you come in here with that? Like, be careful what kind of energy you bring in my chat. Matter of fact, I just banned you. You come in here with some respect, man. You on the wrong platform for all that. And this is the importance of testing the spirit of individuals, man. 1 John 4:1, beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirit whether they are of the Most High, because many false prophets are going into the world. See, we like to hear different words, and we let that just sway our opinions on people. This is crazy. The scriptures also tell us in 2 Peter 2:1, but there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. Brother Polight has brung about himself swift destruction. And it's like he has a cognitive dissonance. He hasn't even accepted his punishment. And this is what people support. The 2/3 scammer who ain't doing nothing for the people. These are the people who get the most support within our community. The scammers. Now, it shouldn't be anybody who would want to be seen around this man publicly. Look. This is what Brother Polight out here doing. This is what he out here doing. Like, I'm serious, bro. This is crazy. When he's going to jail, ladies and gentlemen. The man's going to jail. Peep this.
Up to 30 years in state prison and contributing to the dependency of a child, a first-degree misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail. It is my understanding that you wish to plead guilty to this new information. You would be adjudicated guilty, and your sentence has been memorialized in a 4-page plea agreement.
There you go. It's right here.
Did you have the opportunity to go over this plea agreement with your lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. I do need the defendant to initial each page because there are not initials on these pages. Okay. Let me know when it's done.
Boy, that nigga gonna have a rough time in jail.
Yep. So it's quiet because he's signing the papers. He's signing the papers right now. And that was Brother Polight's voice. Yes. Yeah. But meanwhile, he's on Instagram partying it up just to confuse the public. Imagine being that concerned about your public persona. Like, it has to be some kind of demon in this man, bro. Imagine being that concerned with your public persona that you about to be in a pissy jail cell with none of those beautiful women that you surrounded by, because really that's what he was partying for. That's like the party getting ready to do some time. That's that last minute turn up, knowing that he about to be in that cage. But he's trying to convince the public that he ain't done nothing, which means he has no remorse, means he don't care about the welfare of that young lady. That young lady gonna be scarred for life. And the mother, she testified saying that, the daughter just wasn't, the daughter just haven't been right since this man's still been in the streets. That she doesn't feel safe unless she's at home. But Brother Polight running around manipulating the public. The man, exactly, Floridian, the man don't care at all. The trauma he's caused, the damage he's caused to the family. He don't care. He don't even care about what his fans think. His followers, those who supported the man. Yet the dude is an absolute psychopath. There's no doubt about that. And these are and what's more troubling is these are the type of people our community continually propagates, bro. And then when there's real men of Yah trying to put in the work, trying to help the people, you don't support that. It's like we root for our villains and destroy our heroes. And it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame.
Yes, sir. Now, it is my understanding, Mr. Nowak, that you have gone over this plea agreement with your lawyer, and I want to go over it with you, not each and every aspect of it, but the major components of the plea agreement. But what I am going to ask is for the state to tell me the general terms of the plea agreement, and then we will go into the details on the contract. Go ahead.
Your Honor, the plea agreement includes an adjudication, 7 years of state prison, followed by 10 years of reporting probation. As a condition of probation, the defendant will...
What did you say, 10 years probation?
10 years reporting probation.
Okay.
The defendant will complete the MDSO program. The defendant will not be allowed to have unsupervised contact with children. The defendant will have specific terms regarding where he may work and the ability to wear a uniform.
So Brother Polight can no longer be around children for the next 17 years. He can't work in certain places for the next 17 years. That's the 7 years he's going to do, and the 10 years probation.
Additional terms of restitution, of which $5,000 has been agreed to be paid upfront within 24 hours, mailed to the victim, and additional restitution to be paid out on a monthly basis once he is out of custody, and that monthly amount is highlighted in the written terms of the plea agreement. Additionally, there will be a stay-away order from victim TS and her mother, which is also mentioned in the plea agreement.
What is the total amount of the restitution?
The total amount of restitution is $25,000.
Okay.
So he has to pay the family restitution, $25,000. He's doing 7 years and 10 years probation.
All right.
The defendant's counsel wants to provide probation with the proof of the $5,000 being paid?
Yes, Your Honor. Okay. All right. Okay, so Mr. Nowak, the terms of the plea agreement are as what the prosecutor just stated, that you are going to be entering a plea of guilty to the 2 counts of aggravated child abuse and 1 count of deliberate contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
All right, so when he gets on social media and say all sex charges have been dropped, yes, the sex charges have been dropped, but as you can see, contributing to a minor, delinquency, molestation, yes, he's still been charged.
You will be adjudicated guilty, which is a criminal conviction on your record.
Yep, guilty.
Do you also understand, sir, that by entering into this plea that it may subject you to involuntary civil commitment proceedings set forth in Florida statutes 394.910 through 394.931? Do you understand everything?
And you know what's sad about all of this is Brother Polight has daughters. And you're supposed to be protecting these young ladies, man. You're supposed to protect the young ladies, not violate them. Like, you got all these women, access to all these women. Why mess with a woman's child, bro? Like, what's wrong with this dude? And then the fact that he just don't have no remorse, it sickens me. And he's going to have a very difficult time in the box. Trust and believe that. He's not going to be doing easy time. It's not going to be easy for Brother Polight.
Anything that I've said thus far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want
That's him.
to also advise you, sir, that you are going to be sentenced to 7 years in state prison, to be followed by 10 years of reporting probation.
You hear it?
In addition to any of these special conditions of probation, you will also participate in and successfully complete a mentally disordered sex offender treatment program, that you are also not eligible. Okay, you may, according to the state, you may be eligible for early termination if all of the conditions of your probation have been completed, that you have had no violations of your probation, and that you have not been arrested for any other criminal offense. Is that correct, State?
And to clarify, the terms stated in 5 is there is no prohibition on early termination. However, there is a requirement that any modification to this agreement be agreed by the state and the court.
Okay. All right, sir. Now, with respect to this plea agreement, I have on each page next to defendant's initials MN. Did you in fact affix those initials to each page?
I did.
And have you reviewed each and every component of this plea agreement going through page 1 and through page 4?
I have.
Now it says on page 4, having read the above mentioned terms of this plea agreement and having been advised by my counsel, David Tarras, I, Michael Noak, freely and voluntarily enter into this plea agreement and agree to abide by all terms and conditions of this plea agreement, and agree that failure to comply with any terms or conditions within this agreement constitutes a violation of probation and subjects me to be sentenced to the statutory maximum penalties provided by law for the crimes for which I am now pleading guilty. And then it has a signature over the name Michael Noah. Is it
Another follower of Malachi Z York. And for those who are unfamiliar with Malachi Z York, just a quick history lesson. The man had a compound where he violated several children. He came in the whole auspice of New Age Egyptology. Actually, Malachi Z York just basically combined every religion. And he had a whole compound where he was giving children herpes. He was sleeping with the children, giving them herpes. He pled guilty as well. And this is who Brother Polight and the conscious community like to shout out. These are they're literally students of Malachi Z York. And let me tell you something. When you have a spiritual head like Malachi Z York, you're bound to repeat the same type of behaviors and patterns, man. Real talk. Sick stuff, man.
that in fact your signature, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I am now going to place my signature on this plea agreement, in that I am now going to be ratifying this plea agreement as negotiated between the state of Florida and your attorney. Has anybody, including your lawyer, told you anything differently than what I've just told you?
No.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication affecting your ability to understand me?
No.
Is anybody forcing, threatening, or coercing you to enter into this plea?
No.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, the entry of this plea will have negative immigration consequences, including deportation and removal?
Understand.
You had the right, sir, to have gone to a jury trial where your lawyer had the ability to compel the attendance of witnesses on your behalf, the ability to confront and cross-examine the witnesses and evidence against you. You had the right to testify just like any other witness or remain silent, and your silence could not have been used against you if you went to a jury trial. You also had the right to appeal any mistakes that I would have made during the course of the trial, and the right to hold the state of Florida to the burden of proving these charges beyond a reasonable doubt.
Now, ain't no man pleading guilty for something he ain't do, man. Ain't no way. Ain't no real man pleading guilty to something he ain't do.
Do you understand, sir, that by entering into this plea, that you are giving up all of these rights and we will not have a jury trial?
I do.
Have you discussed this plea with your lawyer?
Yes.
Has he answered all of your questions?
Absolutely.
Are you satisfied with your lawyer's services and advice?
Definitely.
Did the state provide all the discovery in your possession to the defense?
Yes.
Did the defense review all of the discovery in your possession with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do both sides know of any physical evidence containing DNA that would exonerate the defendant?
No.
Your Honor.
And do both sides stipulate to a factual basis for this plea?
Yes.
And the court has reviewed the arrest affidavit, makes a finding that there is a factual basis for the plea. Mr. Noak, are there any witnesses or is there any evidence that you wanted your lawyer to investigate or me to receive before entering into this plea?
No.
All right. The court finds that the defendant understands the nature of the charges against him and the consequences of this plea, that he has been represented by competent and effective assistance of counsel with whom he says he is satisfied. I find the defendant has knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waived his rights. All statutory fines, court costs, and surcharges will be assessed. Counsel, do you waive PSI?
He didn't even go take it to trial, y'all. He didn't even take it to trial because he already knew upon further investigation, upon further Miami-Dade County funding, they, spending the public's tax dollars, he knew that he was going to be found guilty of a lot more. So there's no telling what he did to that young lady in that room, y'all. Ain't no telling what he did. So he's getting off light. He's very confident with making his decision to plead guilty. You can hear it. He knows that he got the best deal out of this from what he did. And this couldn't have been the first young lady that he done this to. Because if he bold enough to do this to one of his wife's daughters, then there has to be other victims, y'all. There has to be other victims. There has to be lots of other young ladies, and more than likely somebody's going to step forward. There's going to be other women stepping forward. Young ladies are going to be stepping forward. They're coming.
Yes, Your Honor. All right. Now, Mr. Noack, you do understand, as I mentioned to you before, that the state, as they had articulated earlier, you may be eligible for early termination as long as certain conditions are met. That means no violations. You've done everything that you were supposed to do. You've not been arrested for any criminal offense, and the state is in agreement with it as well as the court's ratification. On the other hand, sir, if you violate any terms and conditions of this probation, and that includes getting arrested for any other criminal offense, that you could be subject to the maximum period of time in prison, which by my calculations is 61 years state prison. You do understand that?
Mm.
And knowing all of this, do you still wish to enter into this plea?
Damn, if he violate any one of those stipulations within that 10-year probationary period, if he's around children at all, if he gets a job at a damn daycare, but he's a high-profile celebrity, so everybody going. The man's marked for life. Let's just put it that way. Everywhere he go, we're gonna know that's Brother Polight. He violated kids. He's marked for life. But what this stipulation is saying, that if he violate anything, this brother's getting thrown away for 61 years. See, Florida's not playing. Florida's not playing. He's not playing. I mean, they not playing. Yeah, I mean, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. But you know the real crazy part? I've been warning y'all about Polight for years. How he was a scam artist, how he was jugging, how he was finessing. Crazy.
Yes.
All right. The court finds the defendant, as I mentioned before, understands the nature of the charges against him and the consequences of this plea, that he's been represented by competent and effective assistance of counsel with whom he says he is satisfied. I find the defendant is knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waived his rights. All statutory fines, court costs, and surcharges will be assessed. Is there anything further as it relates to Mr. Noak? I do have on the Zoom that the victim's mother wanted to address the court.
Correct. And Your Honor, nothing more from the state except to let Your Honor know if you can unmute the victim's mother, and she will be listed as victim Nowak in the Zoom, and she's requesting, pursuant to Marcy's law, that her identity remain anonymous. So for that reason, she will not be stating her name, but she will be making a statement regarding this case.
Where would it be?
It should say victim and then in parentheses Nowak. Nope, sorry. You see it?
So at the end of this, the victim's mother speaks. So we're going to allow the victim's mother to speak.
Victim Noak.
Okay, yes, 1 second. All right, you may unmute, ma'am.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. All right, so what I'd like you to do is, well, you don't want to give your name, so at this point, just go ahead and you can give us an impact statement. Yes, ma'am.
And that's an interesting comment, striving for righteousness, because he has the opportunity to repent right now. He has the opportunity to confess his sins to the public. He's being arrogant. He's been threatening content creators. Literally, he did a stream yesterday, which I don't know if he removed it or not, because I don't see it. But there was a stream he did on Instagram saying that he was going to get lawyers because people are talking about him taking a plea deal. He's literally still operating in the spirit of pride. And he's running around trying to manipulate the public. He shows no signs of remorse. And that's what makes this so sickening. Even though he's going to jail 7 years, he's going to do hard time, the man still has no type of recourse for his actions. And that's the most disheartening part about this, man. This is sad. But hey, pride come before the fall.
Thank you. Michael Nowak. This is the first time I have spoken publicly about what you've done to my daughter and I have gracefully remained silent the last 2.5 years. 2.5 years of pain, shock, disbelief, PTSD, constant nightmares, and daily triggers. Trying to help my daughter heal when I'm not even healed myself. What you have done to my daughter, myself, and my entire family is inexcusable. You hurt us all. You made me believe that you were such a great man and you could do no wrong. You made me fully trust you, and for that, my daughter trusted you too.
That is sad, man. How this incubus demon took advantage of that family, took advantage of that young lady, took advantage of his wife. She put all her trust into this man to be a man of stature and integrity. And this what you do. She trusted this man so much, she didn't think nothing about this man being around the 14-year-old daughter alone, because she didn't see that in him. But all the while, Brother Polight was a predator. And he still has the nerve to sit up here on social media playing semantics and playing mind games with the public. Real sad stuff. But this is the end of Brother Polight. This is the end of his whole reign. This is the end of him swindling the community. This is the end of him fleecing the flock. It's nothing more sick than being a pedo. When you behind bars for that, oh, it ain't no joke. That's the worst thing you can be locked up for. And I want to thank Imani the One for the contribution. I appreciate the support to the channel, fam. Absolutely. Judgment is at the door for Brother Polight.
But the truth is, you're a monster. A demon.
A demon. She called him, hey, listen, she called Brother Polight exactly what he is. An ancient Kemet demon. See, when y'all see all of that eye around the pyramid and all of that face paint they be putting on and going to the pyramids and doing all this, these are demons. They're dealing with fallen spirits, fallen ones. This is why, ladies, you got to understand what a man believes in plays a role in how he maneuvers. If a man believes in ancient Kemet, New Age philosophy, these different esoteric practices, then you need to do your research. You need to do your research on what they follow. See, an ancient Kemet, there's nothing for them to be dealing with children. Why? Because that's what they did in Egypt. In the land of Ham, in the land of confusion, the land of Canaan, rather. This is what they did. So, by process of elimination, you only can serve one or two masters. You can serving the God of the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or you serving these demons and these devils. Ladies, a man just can't say he's spiritual to you. You got to ask him, what do he stand on? Because the scriptures surely do not permit this type of behavior. The scriptures don't permit this.
The very first time that I allowed you to be alone with my daughter, the very first time, and you couldn't even help yourself.
Wow. That was her very first time allowing this man to be alone with her daughter. And he could not help himself but to violate this young lady. A sexual deviant. So for the people out there saying, you know, it's the mother's fault and all of that, let's not say that. Let's not say that. But the mother she was oblivious. She was oblivious to how spiritual matters work. See, what a man believes, and I hope that's what she takes away from this. What a man believes, it holds a great weight on how he maneuvers. And let me give you an example. The Bible has laws, statutes, and commandments. When a man adheres to his true self, his true identity, and he's following the law, statutes, and commandments, you know what rules and regulations govern that man. You know what governs him. Now, when you're dealing with a man who has no law, and they're into, you know, channeling spirits, they're into serving the Amun Ra, and there's no laws that govern them, they're liable to do anything. And ladies, you have to understand that. You just can't deal with a man who just claims to be spiritual and well-spoken. You have to dig beneath the surface and find out, okay, what laws do you live by as a man? What is your moral compass? What governs you? What is righteous? What is evil in your opinion? And you ladies got to have conversations like this so you can know what you're dealing with. But it is very sad that this woman is going through this, and I feel some type of way about how he did this woman, for real. It's heartbreaking. And Brother Polight, he's going to pay for that. And to still show no remorse is sick. It's sick.
Damn.
You told me you was gonna be right back. You were going downstairs. You were gonna grab food and take vacation pictures. You told me that you wanted to have a one-on-one talk with her about loving and respecting me as a great mother that I was and am.
Wow. So you told this woman, so Brother Polight, let me get this right. You told this woman that you were going to have a one-on-one talk about how she was a great mother. You was going to go have a one-on-one talk with the daughter to somehow make their relationship better. And being a perverted demon you are, you, instead of just taking her downstairs, you slipped out of the door and drove her to a hotel room and had your way with her. A real snake in the grass, a real viper. Wow, sir. Sick.
I actually believed you. I believed that you were going to bring her right back. I thought you were going to have this trusting conversation with her that you promised me. Her and I both trusted you. For a grown man to violate a child who trusted him, you should be ashamed of yourself. You plotted on me and my little girl. The entire time you knew what you planned to do. Isolate, intoxicate, then violate my baby. Shame on you. I trusted you to bring her right back. You were supposed to bring her back the same way that you took her. Instead, you drugged her and took advantage of her. You sexually abused her. You forced alcohol down her throat. You then forced her to see things that no child should ever have to see. You forced her to feel things that no child should have to feel. You forced her to accept violence that no child should ever have to endure. You forced drugs in her that no human should ever even ingest.
So he was sitting there, instead of counseling a young lady, he's sitting there shoving drugs down her mouth, pouring alcohol down her mouth, getting her intoxicated. So out of nowhere, a demon took over Brother Polight. A demon took over. And he just did the unthinkable, y'all. And now he's running around partying, filling on booties out there in the club. Now he out here, right? This is what he's doing right now. Claiming that the charges is dropped. No remorse. He's set in this court. He's set up in this courtroom on this Zoom meeting. And he did not once feel guilt. Yeah, he got body snatched. Archon hacked him and it was on. He did the unthinkable. And he heard this woman's testimony. He heard this woman crying out. He heard the pain. He know what he did, but he felt nothing. All he can think about is what his social media followers are going to think. All he can think about is his fame and the respect that he have on social media. All he can do is think of how could he continue to manipulate and create some kind of damage control? How can he continue living up to this character that he's been living? How can he keep the mask on? Wow. Brother Polight is soulless.
She's my child. My baby. How could you? You could have killed her with all the drugs that were found in her system.
Oh my God.
And you thought your master plan was mapped out perfectly, huh? You thought I'd be dumb enough to believe you over my child. And you thought that money would blind me. You thought I was going to be so blinded that I wouldn't notice when you returned her with bruises all over her body and her mouth busted, uncontrollably shaking. Absolutely not.
Wow.
And although you executed your plan and you got what you wanted those couple of hours, you actually failed. Because look where you're at right now. You have created a lifetime of trauma for my daughter and I. Before you, we never knew evil existed. You brought so much evil into our lives that early morning, and I'll never forget. I called you like 50 times and you wouldn't answer me. And I called her too, but you took her phone. You drugged my baby and you gave her no way to seek help. You left me no way to contact her, even know where she was. I get physically sick now whenever I'm away from my daughter because of you. Something as simple as her going to school, I'm in panic mode. Because I'm scared when she comes back, she's going to be hurt all over again. I constantly have flashbacks of that night. And what she lives with is not okay. She feels uncomfortable around people and will live with this forever, and this is not fair to her.
And Brother Polight has no remorse. This is just plain old sad. She comes back with her mouth busted, bruises all over her body. And because Brother Polight is full of pride and arrogance, because he's had fame on social media, because he's been in the company of various celebrities and he's drove the best cars and had the best women, he thought that the woman would be blinded by the money, which is the love of that money is the root of all evil. And if she would have loved that money, he would have continued violating that young lady and more young ladies in the streets. But because this woman actually wanted Polight, wanted to be with him for him, loved him, loved his intelligence, his business acumen, loved the person that she was dealing with, she was actually with him for him. She trusted him. She trusted his leadership to guide her in the right direction. And Brother Polight thought it was all about the money, that he can do whatever he wanted to do because he's rich. That he can, pay people off. He can get away with it. He's done it before. Imagine how many other women that he's got with that allowed this. That allowed it. Somebody said, "Hey, Bree, stop the stream. This is sad. Let me put you on timeout." Don't tell me to stop the stream. Here it is, Brother Polight running around threatening content creators. Now we need to hear the pain that he caused. This woman deserves to be heard publicly. She deserves to be heard. What was done to her family and what was done to her daughter deserves to be heard.
She never deserved this. Shame on you for forcing evil on our youth. And for a year, I questioned, how could you even do this to us? Her and I did nothing wrong to you. We trusted you. I moved across the country because I believed everything that you told me. But it was pure manipulation I see now. All you do is specialize in selling false dreams. How can you do this to an innocent child and mother who simply trusted you? We did nothing wrong. But you know what? I'm done breaking my head trying to question or figure out how you could do such a thing. It's so simple to me now. You're just a sick man. A man you can have a plethora of women, but you secretly prefer to have a child. And it's so clear now. I will never be able to fully trust another person due to the betrayal that you've shown me. And for that, I was not willing to trust 6 strangers and go to trial. Nor was I going to put my daughter through an additional trauma. This plea was in our best interest. You and I both know the evidence is extremely substantial. But even with that, I refuse to have my child be tormented when she's done nothing wrong. All she holds is the truth. And I will say this. Although you were so worried about being labeled a sex offender, you did us a huge favor by admitting to guilt, period. So for that, I thank you. I truly thank you. Yes, mitigation took place and I...
Okay, so for what she just said, that he won't be put on a sex offenders list, but it doesn't matter. She did that in exchange. She agreed to that in exchange for him admitting guilt. So she would rather have him admit that he was guilty for the actions than be placed on the sex offender list, because it doesn't matter. We know Brother Polight. I mean, he's going to be a walking billboard for sex abuse when he gets out. So it doesn't matter. Everybody going to know he's a polarizing figure. So it's no need for him to be on that list where he got to check in or whatever. We know him. Whenever we see Brother Polight, we already going to know what time it is. She rather him just admit what he did so she can get some type of closure. Hey, and listen, I'm gonna have to ask y'all to stop using the N-word in my chat. Stop using it. Seriously. I'm serious. I've been putting people on timeout every time I see it, and y'all just keep flying off with the N-word. Say ninja or use an asterisk sign.
Allowed it as long as it meant you going to prison and you getting true help, because true help means no more victims. The fact that your only non-negotiable was to accept the sex crime shows exactly the type of man that you are. You know what you did in that hotel room. I know what you did, and my daughter knows what you did. DNA doesn't lie. There's no reason why your DNA should have been found on my baby. And yes, I satisfied your bogus request to not be labeled a sex offender, but it doesn't take away from who you truly are.
Right. That was his request, not to be a sex offender. Now, let me change the title of this video. Let me see here. Please guilty. Let me change the title so we can make sure I leave no stone unturned, and it's got it. All right, there we go.
I wasn't going to waste any time going back and forth with you over a label. God will judge you for exactly the person he knows you to be, a sexual predator. So rest assured, jail time equals jail time.
Right, for the person in the chat, I think you may be a bit confused where you said the charges were dropped. Shaking my head. No, Nika, the charges were not dropped. So I don't know what you're listening to. The charges were not dropped. The only thing is he does not have to check in to the sex offender registry after he does 7 years and 10 years probation, which it really won't matter because we all know who Brother Polight is. So it's not like after the 17 years are up, we're not gonna know Brother Polight. She will she adhered to those clause, you know, that stipulation, just so he would get the jail time and admit what he did, because she's searching for closure, right?
And I pray that during your 10 years of sex offender probation, you actually receive the treatment that you need, and it helps heal your sick mind and get the thoughts of being with children out of it. All you care about is your pretend image. But right. I know exactly.
That's a fact. That's all he care about. It's his pretend image. And I got more footage of Brother Polight trying to just play this role this pretend image, and after all of this, he's still playing games, bro. That's a sad, lost man. Where your public image is that important to you, where social media fame is that important, you are a lost cause. Shell of a man.
Be who you are now. You want to be this public figure, but you want to do all your evil acts in secret. You're so self-centered. That's why the last time I saw you on February 27, 2021, you fought me. You tried to hold me hostage from taking my daughter to the hospital. I'll never forget that cowardly look in your eyes. I'll never forget it. You were so scared. You were so scared because you realized you messed with the wrong one. Your last words to me, you held me and said, please don't go. You're going to ruin my career. Well, today, September 6th, 2023, my last words to you are, I hope the next 17 years of your life, you're reminded of the disgusting, terrifying, unforgettable acts that you've done to my innocent daughter. Shame on you. And although you've caused a tremendous amount of trauma for myself and my daughter, we will and will always be superior of you, because a successful, honest career is something that you could never, ever have. We will both continue to stand against violence. My daughter will continue to persevere and be bright and intelligent and courageous young woman that she is. So Michael Nowak, I hope you enjoy prison, and God bless you.
Right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your courage for speaking. It is heartbreaking, and my heart goes out to you and your daughter. All right. The defendant will be remanded to the Department of Corrections.
CPS.
He's given credit for misdemeanor judge. We can do CTS on the misdemeanor.
And I believe when he filed for a motion, I think he's scheduled to be sentenced or to actually turn himself in, surrender. I think the lawyer worked out either 3 or 6 months. I'm not really sure. I don't know if it was either 3 or 6 months where he have to turn himself in, if I'm not mistaken. Right? So, you know, he's going to be stunting on social media for the next couple months, if I'm not mistaken, acting like everything was dropped, acting like this footage don't exist.
Yes. He's giving credit time, whatever he's gotten in. Yes. All right. Thank you.
Now, it kind of make you look at this a little bit different now, right? Now that you got the gist of what's going on, it make you look at this real different when he just went live, right? He just went live.
That there would be some kind of trace of something, some kind of DNA, but the rape kit came up all negative. So now we're in a conundrum. So how the hell how does the DNA just skip to a t-shirt and a headscarf? Well,
no remorse.
The serologist that did the report that labeled it semen stains, when you got high-powered attorneys such as myself, then what
feel arrogant.
Happens is when you spend damn near 200 grand on your defense, you have the right to do deposition.
If he ain't spent over 200 grand on his defense, this man will be facing life.
We have our own private investigator. We have our own, guess what, forensics expert. So our forensics expert said this. Our forensics expert said, we want to take a look and see what's going on over there. So when our forensics expert took a look and examined these so-called clothes with semen stains, we had some questions about how did you definitively conclude that that was semen in the first damn place. So guess what happens after that? A deposition is when we interview anybody.
He's insulting the intelligence of the people. And this is what he's been doing his entire career. And people be talking about how sharp Brother Polight is, how smart he is. Listen, people can use $50 words all day, talk you in circles. All day. But if they're not giving you them laws, statutes, and commandments, if they're not telling you who your true identity is, then they ain't telling you nothing. This is where he did his whole entire career. He literally, he verbally raped everybody for like 12, 13 years now. That's what he been doing.
That's part of the situation, whether it be the mother, the daughter, the people who took the 911 call, whoever. The prosecutor gets to sit in while we interview them, while there's a court-appointed stenographer that types up everything. The prosecutor can hear everything as it goes, so they can make a
Your man got a whole purse on.
determining factor if they got a case or not. Point in case, we couldn't interview the serologist, Stephanie Thompson, because she mysteriously disappears when we want to question her about how she came up with those results. I'll say it again. The person who said that there was semen stains on the headscarf and the shirt, despite the fact the rape kit tested for 5 different DNAs, considering the egregious acts that I was accused of, the rape kit came up all negative, which science would suggest I did absolutely none of the things that I was accused of. Science would suggest I did absolutely none of the things that I was accused of. Okay? All right? That's what science would suggest.
That's what science would suggest. Well, that judge suggested that your black ass go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the hell with what you talking about what science suggested. The judge slammed that gavel and suggested you do 7 years and you get them damn 10 years probation. The judge decided for the next 17 years you can't be around children. And you still trying to argue semantics. You pled, sir. That was you. We all heard you. Everybody in this room, everybody on social media, we heard you. Like, we see you, Negro. It's like, like, man, the way he's insulting the intelligence of the black community is amazing to me. It's like, we see you, dude. We all heard you plead. You said, yes, sir. Hey, do you agree with the terms of this plea agreement? Absolutely. We all heard you. You stood up and you signed on the dotted line. You admitted that you were guilty. Guilty, 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 guilty. Yeah, this creep don't have no accountability whatsoever. Weirdo.
Science would suggest that. But here's this woman talking about this DNA evidence, and then now when we call her so we can interview her,
He's in denial.
A deposition and have it on record with my attorneys questioning them based on the findings of our forensic expert, she's nowhere to be found. So you know what we could do now? We could file a motion to dismiss
all that money, all of those cars, those $200,000 lawyers, all the Versace bags and all the Fendi suits, man, all the fedora hats he liked to wear. Guess what, sir? None of that matters no more in your life. None of it matters, because now you're in a 5x5 cell for the next 7 years, and when you get out, you will not be able to get a job. Nobody will hire you. You will be in the streets. You will have to roam as a vagabond. Why? Because for years, you was an enemy of Yah. You was trying to convince the world through your confusion, through your vain philosophy, that the God of Israel wasn't real. You've been a man of no God. You've debated various Israelites, trying to sow discord. You acted as a stumbling block and a roadblock to brothers and sisters coming into the truth. You were studying witchcraft. You was a wizard. You was a practitioner of the dark arts for many, many years. You sold your soul for fortune and fame. And now Satan has come to collect. But what makes it so sad, it had to be at the behest of a young lady who was innocent. And now a family left to mourn and work out the pieces that you've broken and the damage that you caused that family. And you have no remorse. So, which goes to show, since you're unrepentant, that the real judgment haven't even came yet, Polight. That's the crazy part. The real judgment haven't even set in yet. It haven't even resonated what you about to endure for your wickedness. This is just the tip of the iceberg. You're in denial. And when you are behind that wall with hardened criminals who don't play that child molestation stuff, people that you can't sweet talk, you know, like you do on social media, those hardened criminals in that cell, you're not going to be able to just, you know, talk that talk. You're not going to be able to use big words, sir, and get those prisoners up off you. When they passing you around like a blunt, you ain't gonna be able to stop them with those big words. They ain't gonna happen. Your money is not gonna protect you in there. Matter of fact, since you like to talk about how much money you spent on lawyers, see, this is how green you are. This is how slow you are. You talking about this publicly right before you about to go in. You're gonna be getting extorted in there, sir. Oh, they're gonna be running them pockets. You're gonna be getting Bubba's commissary. Oh, you're gonna be feeding your whole tier. And if that money ain't right, you won't be breathing that night. And the money gonna run out. And from what I'm hearing, some of the other wives are still standing by Polight. And they more than likely only doing that to have access to the money. Have access to the money, because a lot of those women that he claims as his wives, if you look at them, they just trying to be seen. They're doing it for validation. They're doing it for attention. Brother Polight has a big platform, and he's showing these women all over the place, dressed real scantily clad, short skirts and all of that. That's not how you do your wife. They doing it for clout. Being seen around Brother Polight and taking photo ops and all that, they doing that to be seen. Them women want their own reality shows. They want spinoffs. They want that money. They want them Birkin bags and them red bottoms, sir. That's what they with you for. But that one woman, she was actually with you because she believed in you. And the one woman that really the woman that believed in you, you took advantage of her. Because that's in a predator's nature to take advantage of pure-hearted people. That's in your nature because you're a wicked beast. I think the other wives are probably accomplices. I think they know about his dealings. But like the young lady said in her testimony, you messed with the wrong one that time. Right. Somebody said this is Nature Boy 2.0. Right. But we want to follow the Nature Boys and the Polights and the Malachi Z Yorks and all these weirdos. Listen, either you in the biblical truth or you a freaking demon. Straight up. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts to it. Exactly. This is a brute beast we dealing with. Yeah, brother, no light ain't gonna be seeing the light of day.
This the DNA for the case. That's what we could do. Because if we go to trial, we won't be able to cross-examine her because suddenly she disappears. She works with some private company and no one.
But you ain't go to trial because you pled.
Could find her. Now, all the while, the state been giving me opportunities to plead 20 years sexual offender, plead 15 years sexual offender. And I'm like, I wouldn't care if you gave me 1 day in prison. So long as you got that label registered sex offender on there, I'm going to trial.
He ain't going to trial. He just pled. We all heard it. He just pled. Now he's lying to, and this is minutes ago, literally. If y'all look at the bottom, it says 2 hours ago he streamed this. He's trying to do damage control. He's trying to act like he a real one and he gonna fight. He ain't going to trial. It's over. You already know what's gonna happen.
So long as you got that label there, registered sex offender, I'm going to trial because I can never make a plea to something like that.
So you only concerned about not being in a sex offender registry. That's your only gripe. All right, look, I'll do the time. I admit it. I did this, that, and the third, but just don't put me on a sex offender registry. I don't want to be your brother Polight. We're gonna know when we see brother Polight. Doesn't matter if you're in a registry or not. This dude is really delusional. Really, he's lost, man. Is this what Ancient Kemet putting out? This dude's sick with it. All of the books that didn't he write 90 books? Brother Polight put out 90 books, and this is his level of intelligence. You really can't make this up.
So guess what happens? The state says if we ever want to do interviews, depositions, if we ever want to get a deposition from the mother and a deposition from the daughter, all bets are off. They'll never do an agreement with me. They said they'll never do an agreement. Never do an agreement. Work out an agreement or a plea. I said, I don't give a... My attorneys will tell you straight up, because when you see my attorney video, he's going to tell you straight up. From day one, I said, I'm never doing an agreement to any sexual charges. Interview the mother and the daughter. So they are the last of our depositions. We got the police body cams. We realized that the police report contradicts the affidavit that they did. The affidavit contradicts the interviews that they did on the body cam. So we got 3 contradictions.
He's a walking, talking contradiction, bro. This is crazy. Yeah, his life is over. His career is over. You know, typically I would definitely not root for a man's downfall or his judgment. But in this situation, seeing as how Brother Polight has no remorse, seeing as how he does not care, he doesn't care about the victims, seeing as how he's still playing semantics, you know, I can truly say, like, I can't see myself saying I hope the best for him. I truly don't. I'm just being real with y'all, because the way he's dealing with this situation, he has no remorse. I can't sit up here and say, you know, man, I don't want to see another brother locked away and yada, yada, yada. I can't say that with this. Even if he was apologetic, you know, he would still have to do the time. He would still get what he deserves. But my whole energy would be different towards it if he was apologetic, if he talked about the problem he had, the mental illness and the sickness, and brung some type of exposure to what brung him to that, so other people can avoid that demon. What did he learn and commit that brung him down that path? Why did he do that? He could have been some kind of advocate for people who went down the teachings of Malachi Z York, who went down the New Age rabbit hole and end up doing these atrocities. And then I could have said, you know what, hey man, when he do his time, hopefully, you know, the brother get his soul claim, he get with the Most High. But seeing as how this dude don't have no type of recourse, he don't care. Exactly, his ego won't let him. Right, Daryl says he knows that most people only half listen and barely understand. That's a fact. That's a fact. Just too arrogant, man.
The story that the mother and daughter tells on the body cam, the stories that they told in the police report, and the stories that they tell on the affidavits, none of them work out. And I'm going to speak about that. But ultimately, we want to interview them. So when we interview them and do our...
You still think he in a position of power. You're done.
Depositions, have the prosecutor sit there. We already know where they're lying. We already know their lies. We looked at each of the 3 different types of lies they said for that night. So guess what's going to happen when we get to interview them? We're just going to ask them questions so they can contradict themselves. So when we go to court, we can ask them which story is true and why did you lie?
He already pled. It's done. It's a done deal. Put a fork in him. It's over. Brother No Light will see no light of day. and he's still out here lying. Hey, it is what it is, brothers and sisters. You know, ladies, be careful who you let into your household. Pay attention. Pay attention. You know, find out what rules and regulations govern a man spiritually. Brother Polight is a delusional fool. So is Umar Johnson. Young Pharaoh was he was young and immature. I called that a long time ago, that he was just a little boy who got some fame. I mean, I've been around for years. I've been around before a lot of these guys. And when they come to prominence, you know, I always warn y'all about these characters, these conscious community, quote unquote, pro-black individuals. I've been warning y'all for a long time about the conscious community. And I've been around longer than all of them. But of course, I don't have the same notoriety because I'm teaching the actual truth. That comes with the territory. You know, when you bring in the actual truth of the Most High on this platform, you know, you're not going to get the accolades that the swindlers and scammers are going to get. And I'm okay with that. That's how I know that I'm in the right direction, because the scriptures tell you if the world love you, know that they love if you're their own. If the world love you, it loves their own. And so I'll take the hate. I'll take the backlash. I'll take, you know, the lack of respect. Because if I can reach just a few people who can see and truly lean on the Most High and the Creator, hey, then it's all good with me. I just want to give all praises to the Most High. Hopefully this video drew some awareness. We got to hear that young lady's testimony. And hopefully this can be a learning experience for everyone out there. Be careful what you follow. Test the spirits. But anyway, all praises to the Most High. Thank y'all for, you know, tuning in. I got more stories to talk about. Turn your post notification bell on so you can get videos as they're being uploaded. With that being said, shalom and peace.